Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. This video literally is about how you are not bullish enough on XRP. Throughout this video, what I'm going to do is read to you my deep dive that I wrote on XRP in my weekly Insight free newsletter, because I don't think enough people read it. 1,200 of you read it, but I think more of you need to hear my thought process on why XRP is going higher than a lot of people think and my thesis around it all. So literally just went on my weekly weekly Insight newsletter here and clicked on XRP Deep Dive, which is week 117, and I'm just going to read to you about this. This was published on the 23rd of November. This XRP price was around $1.20, $1.30 when I published this, and obviously now we're sitting at like $2.30. So let's just get into it. This week's newsletter shines a spotlight on XRP as we deep dive into everything you need to know about it and why we're fundamentally and technically bullish on this asset. So I want to deep dive into a topic that's been central to my investment strategy and analysis, XRP. As we navigate this bull run, I believe XRP is positioned for significant growth, not from a technical standpoint, but also fundamentally and emotionally. In this issue, I'll share my comprehensive thesis on why I believe XRP is set to make waves in the crypto world. Let's get started. So first off, why XRP? Before we get into specifics, a question I've asked myself countless times over the years: why am I so heavily invested in XRP, and why not diversify more? And honestly, it's only because I've basically researched XRP more than anything else. And when I compare it to other cryptos, it doesn't make sense for me to invest about something I know less about. So that's why I got so heavily weighted. I also believe that the risk to reward was massively skewed to the upside. When you have such an opportunity to make money on such a skewed risk to reward basis, it only makes sense to heavily allocate. Many people in the crypto space heavily allocate to assets like Bitcoin and ETH. But in the best case scenario, Bitcoin might offer like 3 to 5x return, 10x in a golden cycle, and ETH is similar. However, XRP has very realistic chances of breaking out of its current range with upside potential from anywhere from like 10 to 40 times. Remember, this was at $1, but I was talking about when it was at 50 cents. This was my thesis. Remember, this is similar had the similar like downside risk to Bitcoin and ETH, especially as I felt that XRP had more than others like priced in like downside potential because of the issues of the SEC and the underperformance in the 2021 cycle. I've always felt the downside risk was basically priced in. So the discrepancy between perception and reality is exactly why I've been so confident in my XRP investment strategy. So now let's get into the fundamentals. XRP is an argument I've constantly made over the years because not only is it a cryptocurrency, it also has some impact on the global scale. Bitcoin, for instance, is often touted as digital gold, but it hasn't really proven itself over time the way gold has. Now, that's not to take away from how big the market cap of Bitcoin is. Obviously, there's a lot of liquidity in Bitcoin because the asset is so big now. It's not that I think it's going to go away, but in terms of like a use case outside of a speculative asset or a store of value, it doesn't really have anything right now. And Ethereum is lauded for the potential of the internet of value, or the application layer of the internet, but doesn't offer solutions that currently contribute significantly to everyday life. ETH is largely speculative. People are like speculating on whether it will help in the future, not necessarily whether it will right now. For example, ETH gas fees are so high, so all the ETH L2s have been created, and I basically said, is that a definitive upgrade to the current system, or is that just like a reintroduction of a new solution but with new problems? I said it's not efficient or definitive, essentially. On the other hand, XRP has always shown real-world impact, albeit on a small scale. Like, I'm not going to come here and pretend that XRP is solving all the world's problems. It's not. Even in the cross-border payment space, it's solving a tiny, tiny fraction of payments right now. But it still is solving some problems in the cross-border payment space. That's essentially what I'm saying. So while I won't go into all of Ripple's relationships and announcements, I will talk about a few that are quite key, especially recently, because if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know about all their cross-border payments partnerships that they've announced in the past, but a few others people don't necessarily know about that also have some scope for other areas outside of cross-border payment in the future are Ripple's connection with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, which underscores XRP's potential in the financial sector, but also Ripple with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority basically were selected to show how house deeds and mortgages could be transacted and settled on the XRP ledger. This was at the showcase of the Hong Kong digital dollar. Also, naming just a couple of like cross-border payment partnerships with Bhutan, which has close relationships with China and Montenegro, and there are many others, including like Palau and others that other countries that you might not know of. Also, as well as this, there has been land tokenization by the likes of Persist in Colombia, which is basically where they got certificates of land, tokenized it on the XRP ledger as proof of who owned the land, essentially. And very recently, we've seen Axelar, who are a cross-chain bridge. I actually had the CEO or the co-founder of Axelar on my podcast, who discussed how Ripple's RLUSD could capture market share and position itself as a key player for institutional DeFi. Basically, Axelar are going to be providing a service to the XRP ledger to make it interoperable with ETH, and I think it's no cost on slippage and instant transaction between the XRP ledger and ETH for RLUSD, which actually yesterday was officially confirmed by an entity in New York, a legal entity that is. So now getting into a bit more. RLUSD in the USA. This brings me to Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD. Whilst it hasn't officially launched yet, it's confirmed, it is confirmed and it will launch very soon. The development is poised to play a critical role in expanding XRP's utility, particularly in the realms of institutional DeFi and real-world asset tokenization. Although RLUSD has yet to launch, I believe it could be a pivotal narrative and increase adoption for the XRP ledger. This is especially relevant when given the catalyst in the USA, where Ripple has been embroiled with a lawsuit with the SEC for many years. With the recent announcement of the resignation of Gary Gensler, there are signs that this prolonged legal battle might be approaching a resolution, potentially clearing the path for greater clarity and growth for XRP. Moreover, Donald Trump's election, we've seen positive reaction in prices, likely fueled by Gensler's departure as a key catalyst. Another significant factor is Trump's announcement of plans to establish a crypto advisory board, with Ripple rumored to be involved. I believe there's a strong likelihood of Ripple's participation, and it would align well with the interests of the United States and the Trump administration. Adding to this, we've been seeing people like Charles Hoskinson, who's the co-founder of Cardano, talking openly with Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, and also Hoskinson has been talking about how he's been going to and from Washington in order to help shape crypto in the US. Introduction of crypto, I think, is a strategic move by Donald Trump and the US, like a game of 5D chess. Elon Musk has long pointed out potential of the demographic issue in the US, with younger people having fewer children due to financial constraints. Many of Trump's voters are young cryptocurrency holders, and by enabling them to increase their wealth through favorable crypto policies, we could see a boost in the younger demographics' financial stability, potentially encouraging higher birth rates. Also, thinking about Musk in Trump's ear, we know Musk is very keen on Doge, obviously a crypto, and he's going to be introducing X payments very soon, and I always presume that would be in some way incorporating cryptocurrency, so it makes more sense. Additionally, promoting cryptocurrencies could bring capital back to the US, aligning with Trump's goal of onshoring industries. This move would not only create jobs, but also attract intellectual capital. It's basically like people moving back into a crypto-friendly environment. And the strategy seems like a way to achieve multiple objectives, boosting the economy, supporting his voter base, and making America a hub for crypto innovation. Companies like Ripple, Algorand, and Cardano are poised to be at the forefront of the potential crypto renaissance in the US. HBAR is another one that's been floated around. Retail and XRP. Shifting our focus to retail and the broader market sentiment towards XRP. Many retail investors have been holding for some years some since the $3 high in 2017. For those who haven't sold, this could mean they've been underwater for up to 7 years. Psychologically, many of these investors might initially think that selling XRP when it hits $3 just for a break even. However, after holding for so long and seeing it finally turn green, they might have a psychological shift. Instead of selling, they might decide to buy or to hold or even buy more, encouraged by the recent turnaround. This often happens, in my opinion, guys, when emotion and price starts to go in one way. It like kind of sucks in more price action, and then that makes people more emotional, positive. So that's how I think that the psychology could change for these people and potentially create a new wave of interest. Turning to perceptions of XRP within the crypto community, there's a notable amount of blind skepticism, often based on outdated narratives, which are either exaggerated or entirely unfounded. Despite this, many critics will be likely buying XRP when it breaks key levels, driven by the fear of missing out on potential gains. The FOMO trigger waves of buying XRP as it crosses $1 and $2 are certainly all-time highs, transforming skepticism into aggressive market momentum. We saw that. A lot of people said it will never break above $1, then it ran straight from $1 almost straight to 277, and then we've had a bit of a slowdown since 277, and then yesterday with the announcement of RLUSD, potentially some more excitement coming back towards XRP, and then we'll see where it starts to break now and what will happen at all-time highs. People say that is an area to be cautious of, and I am not so sure because of the same way that we just blasted through $1. This dynamic feeds into my risk-reward thesis. When emotions run high around an asset, whether positive or negative, there's often value to be found on the other side of that sentiment. There's also a significant amount of the community who think XRP is going to reach $1,000 or more. This group is unlikely to sell their holdings at current prices, effectively taking a portion of XRP's circulating supply off the market. This reduction in supply can have significant impacts on market dynamics, potentially driving up the price as demand outstrips the available XRP for trading. As I've always said, it's a competition for available supply, not circulating supply. If people don't want to sell, then it's easier for price to go up because it takes less capital to compete for that price. Lastly, let's touch on the recent introduction of meme coins on the XRP ledger, a topic I've discussed before. While not everyone's cup of tea, it indicates the space for speculative activity and highlights the attention that meme coins are garnering, as we've seen with Solana. Once meme coins are integrated into platforms like DEX Screener, which they now are, and XRP itself is on the rise, we could see capital rotation in the ecosystem. Now, if you've watched my recent YouTube videos, I've talked about this a few times, basically where if you get rich in an ecosystem, then you are likely to spend your money within that ecosystem, just as ETH holders did with NFTs in the last cycle, how this cycle Solana holders have with Solana meme coins. Base meme coins have really pushed up. Tron with Tron meme coins, and then Tron going to all-time highs. I don't think it's any different for XRP. This tends to offer a playground for XRP to leverage their gains, potentially mirroring other ecosystems. As XRP draws attention, it's another piece of the puzzle that adds to the retail dynamics around XRP. I think memes are overall bullish for the ecosystem. More people trade in memes and less capital flight from the XRPL. Just remember that the more people that do trade memes, it means they're not actually cashing out from the XRPL to other ecosystems. They're still rotating that capital around the XRP ledger. So TA and thoughts. I'm just going to zoom through this because a lot of this we talked about already. But first off, it's this chart, and I've discussed this a few times. Remember this, we were at 112 when I wrote this newsletter, actually. So what I basically said is, with this long period of consolidation, we haven't seen any sort of like breakouts like this before. We had 1,000 days where we just ranged between like $1 really and 30 cents, which is almost unheard of. And then we had 2,500 days where we didn't break our previous all-time high, and still yet to break the all-time high. And we don't know what that means essentially for a crypto to do that. The most notable time, basically, or the most similar time that we saw something like this was in 2017, and we were like in this sector here when we broke out. We had all this accumulation, consolidation, and then a large breakout and continuation. And from that, I was showing this circle here, the first little break, look, the weekly. We had like a further 400% before we paused out. And then if we actually looked at like the the local top, it was actually a further 38%. I've done more deep analysis on this recently because price action has continued, and so we've had more information to analyze. I basically think we are in our wave 2 right now, corrective wave 2 after a larger wave 1. Wave 1 took us out to 277. Wave 2 is a corrective wave, and then wave 3 potentially taking us out anywhere, in my opinion, between, like, it should be over 6 in Elliott wave theory. The third wave is often the largest wave, but in crypto it can be the fifth wave, an extended fifth. But the wave 3 should be about 1.66 times or more that of wave 1. So depending on how you view our wave 1, if you view our wave 1 from 55 cents to $2.77, if we just say that's a $2 move, then it should be at least a $3 move, which would take us out to like $5-ish. So I think we go to at least 6, because this is just like napkin math rather than it being accurate. We go to at least 6, if not have an extended wave that could take us out towards like 8, 9, maybe even $10 before having a further correction, before having our next correction, and then blasting off above the 10 towards my like 13 to 15, potentially higher top. But let's see. What else was I talking about? Then I also made examples about XRP and market dominance, saying that 4, 6, 14, 20, and 31% were all areas that could provide resistance. And if we hit them, it will be approximately 875. But that's with the market cap of 3 trillion, or 3.5 trillion now, which is, so that probably needs to be updated. But if we went to like 10 to 12 trillion, like I think is possible in the next 3 to 9 months, that would be a 3x from those prices, putting us in the $25 to $30 region. Also, if we look at Bitcoin, if we have the full extension against Bitcoin, is what I'm basically talking about here. This is Bitcoin on the XRP versus Bitcoin on the inverted, constantly making higher lows. And when we break key support lines or resistance, obviously, if you flip this back the right way, we do fall pretty quickly in price. We do fall pretty quickly in price. We're waiting for that fall potentially pretty quickly when we get the clean break here. We're actually up at this level now. When we get this, but this is had this area like highlighted because it's where the key resistance has been for a little while. If we get that break, I presume we'll go to at least equal highs against Bitcoin, and that would bring XRP actually down to about $20. It will bring us to about $20 or 17, 18 I was talking about. So the $8 to $30 range, again, it has confluence. And then against ETH, we had about 7x from where we were, which I don't know what that brings us, around $10. And then if we use a Fibonacci retracement tool, just a very simple charting tool, gives us an extension up towards about $12 to $15 there. I think it's actually 11 to 14-ish dollars, just against the USD pairing. But if we look at the 2017 cycle, what we can see is we blew through the 4.236, and I know a lot of people talk about market cap now, so maybe you can take that into consideration instead if that's what you want to do, because that obviously takes into account inflation of the asset over the years. And we actually went another 12 times higher than our 4.236. So I'm just using that as a very rough estimate, that 12 sort of to $14. Say 12 to 15 I've said in this, and maybe even 17 this cycle. However, it's very possible for us to see an extension to $20, and best case scenario perhaps even 30 if XRP dominance and the market cap align perfectly. Ultimately, guys, it's up to you when to decide to take profits, but they're just some ideas for you there. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I've tried to give you as much information about XRP as I can right there, all in one video and all on my newsletter to go and read for yourself. The Crypto Man goes into charts of the week, and he writes a very good section. I'm not going to get into that because we're just talking about XRP in this specific video. If you did enjoy, please do subscribe. As I said, go and check out my newsletter and share this video with a friend. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments. Did I miss anything like glaring to you guys that I should include in my next deep dive? Peace up, A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.